Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another set of NIKKE reactions. Today we have Retribution and Retribution, or Retribution one of the two. I think it's Retribution Re. Either way, we're going to be listening to these as requested by Snow Joeable in the comments a few weeks ago, and I'm back doing these videos. So here we are. Without further ado, let's go. Why does this sound kind of familiar? Wait a minute. Is this using a motif? I didn't re-listen. It might have been. The extended break I took kind of skewed my memory. That sounded really familiar. That riff in the beginning. Maybe it was. I did check to make sure I didn't do this one though. And I didn't, so it must be something, right? Damn, Powerless still hitting though. I love how Powerless does these patterns. It's a very modern metal thing to have all those pauses in there, but I love them. It's so cool. When done right, they're done very right. This one definitely feels more like a video game theme. For some reason, I don't entirely know why. I'm kind of wondering what'll happen with the remix of it. I love that, like, flam on the snare, too. It's so good. Like that right there, the cannon fire. Oh, that's so cool. I feel like I made a comment about that in the last video, too, so he's probably doing something similar, if not the same thing. It's got just such a solid power to it. But I'm still trying to figure out why it feels so much more like a video game specific soundtrack. It's little details like that that get my brain going and trying to, like, theorize. Maybe some help from the next one. Okay. Immediately, so much heavier. So heavy. Wow. Ooh. Oh. I love the exploration of the scale there. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, NieN. This might be a weird thing to comment on, but the kick, there's like no tone in there at all. It's just this slappy, attack-heavy sound, which is great for this genre. But something about it just caught my ear. Had to make a comment. That was a sloppy fill. You know, sometimes it's better hearing the slop. Ooh. The little patterns on the stacks and like effect symbols. It probably would have been like splashes. Really small symbols. Very fast decay. Great detail to throw those in there. I still love this zoom. That's so good. That's such a good evolution. So like even here you can feel the extra symbols, just exploring the options. I want to hear that sloppy fill again. Yeah. Just holding on that note there. Dude. Oh man. I don't love doing the thing where I'll pit them against each other, but I think I might prefer the NieN version on this one. Powerless did an amazing job. I'll be talking about that. But damn. Damn, NieN. All right, so this is going to be one of those songs where I'm not really going to get into the music theory stuff as far as showing you the keyboard and like notes and chords being played, because it's pretty similar to the last one I talked about when we get down to those details. So I don't feel it's really worth talking about on that side. But what I do want to talk about is just the general everything else that was going into this song, or songs, I suppose. So Powerless made an amazing first run through of this. I love the chug patterns. I love the spacing. I love the pace of it. He really gets that modern metal sound. It's probably a specialty that would totally make sense, but damn, like setting such a good baseline to let NieN go is exactly what I love between Cosmograph and NieN. NieN always knows exactly how to take what Cosmograph has done and vice versa and kind of play off each other. And for Powerless to NieN, it's like handing NieN everything. It's like, hey, here you go. Here's a done song, amazing construction, absolutely fantastic groundwork for everything. Literally no flaws. It's a fucking perfect metal song. Do what you will with it. And the answer is, let's add more detail, more accents, more adventurous approaches to how the song is written. Just taking that even further beyond. It is so fucking good. The reason that I love Powerless's version is because of that innate adventuring that was happening there. And I think that might be the quality where I was like, oh man, this really sounds more like a video game theme. It was inventive. It was fun. It kept moving. It didn't just sit there and do the exact same crap that you would expect out of like a modern metal song. Not to say that modern metal is crap. I actually really like it. I know a lot of people, especially like 30, like my age and older, are like, this is not how it used to be. I'm not a curmudgeon-y piece of shit like that. I actually really like what the modern scene has done. I love the old stuff too. Don't get me wrong. But again, I am very open to new sounds and new approaches to music and just how time changes sound. And I think that's very evident in metal. And I think that Powerless doing this and approaching it that way has opened up a can of worms for the sound of NIKKE that we hadn't really gotten too much of. We've had a little bit with like what Cosmograph used to do with the earlier stuff, the more metal stuff, a lot of the boss themes, such like that. There was definitely those qualities to it, and you could feel he was messing around with those. But at the end of the day, those influences are pretty different, or at very least it feels like how Cosmo writes a lot of the time for the metal stuff is a little bit more in that like late 2000s sort of tone, maybe early 2010s, and this feels a lot more like the late 2010s, 2020s era that we're in now, where everything has gotten a little bit more technical and they're approaching it from that side. And I think having somebody else who knows that side and is a little bit more familiar with that, handle it instead of Cosmograph trying to emulate that, is a really good call. This isn't to say that I think Cosmo couldn't handle that sound. I'm pretty sure he has dabbled in that tone before, but you just have that separation of somebody who was like born in it and molded by it versus somebody who would have to emulate that sound. It's a very different approach, and I think that's why the song kind of sounds more game-like to me, because not only is it a little bit more modern, so it's a little bit more different from the usual sound we get, but it also is cleaner and more technical, which is something that game music has always been. So like when Cosmo does his usual electronic stuff, that's his identity, that's his sound. He really knows that, he feels it, he gets it. And then Powerless does that with metal. It's kind of been that way with NieN up to this point. You could really feel the influence of NieN in the metal stuff up till now. And now we have Powerless starting with stuff and then handing it to NieN, who then takes it even further, again, by just evolving everything. The scales that NieN was adding, it was a lot more movement. Obviously, the pace went higher, the tempo was quicker, so everything else needed to follow suit. That's why the extra details, like all of the cymbal dancing, just literally, if you were sitting behind a kit, this drummer would be like doing this, just like literally kind of hitting things around that are like up and over. It would just be that, them playing around and hitting those cymbals and stuff with like heavy attack, very quick decay, not really hanging around in the sonic space of the music. So it just feels like kind of accentual snares in a way. And again, that's something I loved about the first one, that like flam snare that sounded like a cannon fire. That's really fucking cool. Added a lot of beef to the first version. And for the second version, instead of having that like weighty sort of stuff, we got things like the cymbals, which was a lot more of that movement, that quick change up stuff. And that just made the song feel even more excitable, and it brings it into that new energy, what you would need for like the second phase, which is, I'm sure, how they approach these. I'm not entirely positive, honestly. I don't think I ever quite figured out how they handle the like remix versions, or like what exactly they use those for. I'm pretty sure it would be something like, here's the first version, then the next version would be for like the second phase or the second time you fight somebody. But honestly, I'm not entirely sure, because even though I play the game, I don't think I've ever heard a moment where I've been like, oh yeah, that's a different version of the prior song. You're just not thinking about that when you're playing the game a lot of the time, even though you're hearing these really cool songs in the background. Most of the time, you're either completely wiping the floor with the boss, or if it's in the case of Mother Whale, you're crying. So you're not really focusing on the music in that moment. You're focusing on not losing. So it's not something I personally have noticed, but I do love that evolution. It sounds so good. And again, while I don't think I would hear this song necessarily on the radio, it doesn't have that sort of a sound. It does have a new identity, like I mentioned earlier. So you're bringing that new tone in, you're bringing that new vibe in there, and it is an amazingly clean sound. Again, very modern, and everything is mixed super well, especially those like accentual cymbals. I loved how clear those were in there. I'm assuming all the drum stuff is probably programmed, so you're going to have samples that are extremely clean because that's the point, right? They cut right through because they don't really need to be like down mixed and then like sent out to different channels and everything. It's the whole process of doing drum recording, you know, it's a lot more fine-tuned, and you get like very solid high quality recordings for samples. So you just have those, and you could throw them wherever you want to. Moving them around the mix was a great idea, like you would be sitting behind the kit. They were probably using a VST for that, you know, just the setup as the drums are. If you make music, you know what I'm talking about, but in the grand scheme of things, it just emulates a drum set, and it feels so much more natural to do that and pan things out properly than it would to just slap a sound in there and then do nothing with it. So you can tell, obviously, that these are professionals doing and knowing exactly what they need to do. So it just sounds phenomenal every single time, no matter what. So when you take a song that's made by somebody who knows what they're doing, you're going to be handing gold to somebody who's going to polish it, and it's either still going to be gold, just slightly shinier gold, or it's going to become platinum, like what I think happened here. It got better. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. All of this is a great fucking approach to this genre, this sound, everything. I don't have any negative notes about this. This is some really high quality shit. But I think I will stop yapping about it now, so thank you all so very much for watching. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm back to doing regular videos, so no worries about there being another gap or anything like there was with this. I think this was the last subject I hit before I went on my little mini hiatus there for about a week and a half. So I'm good now, and I'll be back doing these. So if you have another song you want me to get to, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!